I'm the Mademoiselle and ça c'est deuxième channel. Welcome to another video. You are now watching my second channel. If you're not aware, we do have multiple channels. Everything you need is going to be in the lovely QR code on your screen or linked down below. As you guys can see, today we're going to be doing a Haitian Voodoo story time yet again. I absolutely love these, but I always have to spread them out. That's why I don't do them too often. And then there's certain ones that I like to keep to memberships or Patreon because you already know safety and privacy reasons. So like a majority of the videos, of course, safety and privacy reasons will prompt me to change a majority of the details. But today we're actually going to be talking a little bit about suzu, or what a lot of Haitians like to call sol. Now, comment down below if you or anyone you personally know has been involved in a suzu or a sol. For those of you guys who are not aware of what that is, it is essentially a human bank account. That's the best way to explain what it is, right? People usually put their monies into susus or into sol when they don't really trust banks or they want a payout when they really, really need something important. So for example, one person will say, hey, I'm having a susu or I'm having a sol. And basically you go and you commit to contributing maybe $100, $500 or whatever. So every week, every month, however much the frequency is that they suggest or that you are comfortable with. And when you need something like a huge purchase, like a car, a house, tuition for your child, you're able to go and cash out. Or you have to wait for your turn when you can cash out. I hope I explained that properly. If I didn't, I'll insert a clip right here. But all in all, a susu or a sol is something a lot of people participate in. Personally, I don't believe in it because I don't trust niggas. Okay, I don't trust people. I barely trust the bank. At least when the bank goes under or someone at the bank does bullshit, I know who to sue. When it comes to a sol or a susu, there's not much you can do unless you take matters into your own hands. So this particular story actually takes place maybe I'll say like over a decade ago. And if I'm 31, I believe this happened like in the beginning of college. And my mother was the one that was telling me the rest of the details of this recently. And I was like, wow, this is some crazy shit. So my parents never really did the whole susu sol thing. That's probably why I never did it. So like I never really felt a need to. However, I have seen people really flourish in a susu or in a sol. You know, a lot of times when they were in a bind or they really needed money quickly, them contributing was a really good thing for them because they were able to get money quickly versus going to a bank and being declined due to credit and other factors. So I do think there's a place for it. And I do think it is important for many people. And I have seen people run successful ones. I have a few friends out there who have parents that run one. I have a couple friends that do it as well. So I think there are positives and negatives to it. Again, comment down below what you guys think. Now, like I said, this story takes place a really long time ago. Let's get into the story now, shall we? We're going to name the main character of this story Sue because she has a susu or a sol. So not really Sue. Now, Sue wanted to start a sol and she started recruiting people in her friend group and her family. She expanded to work and then she expanded to the neighborhood. She basically started telling everyone, you know what, my fayon sol, I got a susu if you want to join, you know, it's $200 a week or whatever the case may be. I personally don't remember the amount. I feel like it was high at the time. I feel like well, $200 a week is kind of high too. That's $800 a month. It was somewhere between $500 to $800 a month because I specifically remember sitting there like, who the hell got that type of money? Especially 10 years ago, like, shit, that's a lot of money now. Back then, it was a tad bit more. So I was just like, bro, people paying rent to be in a susu. And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I remember when my mom told me about it and she was laughing about it. She was like, I don't understand why Haitians put their money into that. Like, you don't know who you giving your money to. Next thing you know, you need money and you're not going to get it. One of her friends was telling her like, oh, you should join the sol too. And my mom was like, yeah, nah, I don't trust them niggas. Like, I don't even send things to Haiti like that because I don't trust the niggas sending the things to Haiti because a lot of times people will steal it. My parents have always been very weary of that type of stuff. Like anything that has to do with like human responsibility for your belongings. My parents really don't deal with that shit. Like, so my mom was like, yeah, nah, you can have that. I guarantee you it's not going to go well though. And basically her friend was like, oh, why would you say that? Blah, blah, blah. Sue is a good person. She goes to church. We go to church together. A little backstory on that. The girl, my mom's friend, she doesn't really, well, you know what? Maybe we should name her. Okay. My mom's friend, we're going to call her Sally. Okay. Sally went to church with Sue and she was like, listen, I go to church with her. I trust her. I used to work with her. I know her kids, you know, she wouldn't steal my money. Like, I like, you know, like you just talking, you know, and her and my mom had a little back and forth. And I remember being there for the tail end of the conversation years ago. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I personally wouldn't give these people my money. And she was like, oh, well, you know, you're American, you're young, what do you know? And I'm like, okay, bitch, like, I guarantee you, like my mom said, it's not going to be, this is not going to go well. Like, I don't know. Something about Sue just, Like, I never had a problem with Sue, right? Like, when it comes to a lot of grown women, there's a lot of grown women I know growing up I did not trust. Sue was not one of them. Personally, from what I know about how the Sue and the soul work, I don't trust it. And also, I also, just like my parents, do not trust anything that has to do with human responsibility for my stuff. Okay. If I cannot sue an entity or call customer service to be mad about something when they fuck me over, I just don't want no parts in it. So like, you know, we were all laughing about it, whatever. And she's like, shit, whatever. Like I'm about to get in this. So, you know, when I need something, I can get it. And we was like, all right, do you, right? I didn't think I would ever hear about this ever again. It was over time where I started hearing other people like, oh, I put my money in the soul with Sue. Oh, I'm in the soul with Sue. Da, da, da. Everybody started joining this soul with Sue because Sue was a very trusted member of said community. One day I came home from college and my mother and I started talking about the soul. And I don't know why it came up in conversation. I think maybe Sue just came up in conversation. And I was like, oh, how's that soul going? Everybody still, you know, okay or whatever. And my mom was like, yeah, you know, it seems like there's no issues, you know, seems like everything is going well. I said, oh, wow, maybe we were wrong. Maybe nothing, you know, nothing crazy is going to happen. And my mom was like, you gonna wait and see. You gonna wait and see. By this point, it had been like 2 or 3 years. So I'm like, man, if there's anything that was gonna happen, it would have happened already. And she was like, listen, like I said, wait and see. Boom, fast forward, I already graduated at this point. I'm like about to move out my parents' house. Like I remember this vividly. My mom ends up talking to Sally. And Sally was just like, yeah, like, you know, I've been trying to call Sue and I haven't heard from her. Have you heard from her? My mom was like, I don't talk to people like that. Like, like, I don't talk to people like that. And my mom called me like, yo, have you heard or seen Sue or have you seen any of her kids? I said, oh, nah, not really. Like, I've been away at college. Like, so at that time, I didn't really like, I haven't been seeing everybody. Like, I came home from college. I literally was just about my business. I'm trying to find a way to get the fuck out of my parents' house. And y'all sit here talk about some Sues. I'm like, listen, I don't know nothing about Sue. I don't know nothing about no Sousou or Soul. Okay. So my mom was like, I told y'all not to trust that lady. And Sally's like, oh, nah. Like, it ain't even like that. It ain't even like that. I know you're going to try to say, you know, she probably ran off with the money, but it ain't even like that. And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to ask around for you to see if anybody's seen Sue. So boom, fast forward, other people start getting involved in the Sue. Okay, so from what I understand, Ricardo, okay, if you guys do not know the lore of Ricardo, go watch my personal channel or join the Patreon. Ricardo was also part of the Sue. There was a lot of people that was part of the Sue. It was a very, very, like, big Sue. Like, this shit, I don't know why I keep calling it Sousou, okay? But some of y'all know it as a Sousou, right? This was a huge pool, okay? A huge pot. Can y'all imagine, like, I'll say at least 15 people that I know of were part of this shit. And they were paying anywhere from $500 to $800 a month. And this is like 2 to 3 years later, maybe at this point, I think it's like 5-ish years later, right? By this point. And I'm like, damn, that's a lot of fucking money, bro. I was like, shit, has anybody cashed out? Because I'm like, well, if people are cashing out, you just got to wait for your turn. And basically Sally kept iterating like, no, like she needed money now because she needed a car. Like, I think she got a car accident. So she really needed a car. So she wanted to basically jump hands. I don't know how they call it in Creole, but like basically it means like you jump the line and get the money ahead of time so that you get whatever it is that you need. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that, but like, I'll let you know. Like, so I asked Ricardo at the time. My mom wasn't talking to Ricardo. So I asked Ricardo. He was like, yeah, you know, I actually haven't heard from her for a while, but I still be sending the money to the account or whatever. If I'm not mistaken, when it came to Ricardo would send his money virtually. I think it was via Zelle or transfer. I don't know. Some people sent in cash. Je ne sais pas. Like I said, I had no involvement in that shit. Okay. So fast forward every week, okay, my mom is talking to Sally and she's, you know, coming over and she keeps talking about how she really can't find Sue. So eventually she catches me because most of the time when she would be there, my mom would tell me after like, oh, Sally was here and she said she still can't find Sue. And I'm like, damn, that shit crazy. One day she finally caught me there when she came to see my mom and she was like, yo, like, have you heard anything? And I said, oh, I actually asked Ricardo. Ricardo said he hasn't heard from her either. Everybody else that I know of, like, I'd have to contact them. But if Ricardo hasn't heard from her, then I don't know. Like, y'all just been sitting here sending money to some lady for the past couple, like, weeks, and y'all haven't heard from her, or months at this point, and y'all haven't heard from her, and she's like, oh nah, like this is crazy to that. So she started getting tight, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe she's sick, maybe something's going on with her. Like, why don't y'all just pull up to her house? Now the thing is with Sue used to live in the area, however she no longer lives in the area, but she still be in the area. Like, she would be in the area enough for people to trust her with their money, because one, she would come to collect money for the people that were paying cash, and two, she still had family in the area. So now people start contacting her family, and they're like, yo, quote Sue, okay, like where is Sue, because I'm trying to get the money from the soul, or I'm paying money in the soul and I haven't heard from Sue. I need to make sure everything's okay. So now her friends and family are kind of like ignoring people. Some of them are giving vague answers, but a lot of them are kind of just like ignoring it, because they're like, we don't know nothing about what y'all talking about, but Sue hasn't been around. Like, we also haven't heard from Sue. So at this point, KrikKrakCOZ, because now everybody's starting to get mad. Okay, everybody's like, what y'all mean? Y'all haven't heard from Sue. Like, that's your family. Like, what do you mean? Like that don't make sense. Like, ask you where your mom, your aunt, your sister, your cousin is, and you're sitting there talking about something, oh, I don't know. We haven't heard from her either. It looks like y'all are trying to cover for her, or like something's really going on. Like, something could really be happening. So you had one group of people that weren't worried, okay? Because you are l'église avec Sue, okay? They go to church with Sue. They trust Sue. And then you have the people that are like, oh, hell no. Like, where the fuck is she? I need signs of life because I'm sending my money to her. So this was like a very stark divide, because of course you have people that know and love her and trust her, and that's known her prior to the Sue. And then you have people that kind of just got into the mix because people recommended it to them. And the people that trust and love her, whatever, are the ones that convinced the people on this side to give their money. So now you got these two sides feuding, okay? And it gets to the point where the new side, okay, the rightfully upset, are like, listen, y'all better produce Sue, or we gonna produce Sue, and what happens next, y'all not gonna like that shit. So of course the people that fuck with Sue are like, nah, like it's not even that serious, just wait, maybe she's just out of town, you know, maybe she's in Haiti. Because if you guys are not aware, I've talked about this a few times on my channel, especially when people go to Haiti and stuff, like, you don't tell people when other people go to Haiti. It's like this big thing, especially because if someone sends something after you and you go to Haiti, it comes stronger, you can die. There's a lot of like different spiritual things with it. So a lot of us, especially me, my thought was, oh, okay, she probably just went to Haiti and she don't want nobody to know. But a lot of people were just like, okay, if she went to Haiti and she didn't want nobody to know, then she could have at least told us, because we're the ones giving her money, and that shit just don't look good. You got people that's, you know, supposed to be getting, you know, money, and they can't get money, or people sending money and they don't know where their money's going, and they don't know where she's at, and that don't look good. So at this point, I'm like, all right, let me start doing a little investigating, okay? Like, let me start, I'm like, because this shit about to get real crazy for no reason. So I went and I contacted one of her daughters that I used to be really cool with. I'm like, yo, what's up with your mom or whatever? Like, and I started explaining the situation, and she was like, listen, my mom told me not to tell nobody, but yeah, she is in Haiti, and she says she won't be coming back for a couple of months. And I was like, oh, okay. Now, at the time, I wasn't privy to Haiti politics of not really telling niggas that someone's in Haiti. I knew that a lot of people did that personally that I know of, but I didn't think that was like a wide Haitian thing, like, oh, Pagidi Munlo ala Haiti type shit. I did not know that. So I told my mom, like, yeah, you know Sue in Haiti? My bad. I mean, I guess. But niggas was gonna figure it out anyway. And my mom was like, yeah, since I took like everybody been talking about it, like Susan Haiti, and they don't know when she coming back. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I hope she didn't run off with niggas' money. And my mom was like, I already told y'all. Okay, I already told Sally. I told all of these idiots. I told Ricardo that she gonna run off with their money. I don't trust Sue. And then my mom starts telling all of these crazy stories of how Sue was back in the day, how she got her ass whooped for taking money back in the day, all types of crazy shit. And I'm like, damn, well, why didn't you tell Sally that before she put her money into it? She's like, well, Sally wanted to say that's her friend. She trusts her. She went to church with her. She used to work with her. She know her kids. So I give her your money then. Like, anything I said wouldn't have stopped her. And I said, you know what? You're so right about it. And we just started laughing. We was having a grand old day. So, boom, fast forward. At this point, it's been like going on 3 months, right? And Ricardo's like, yo, you heard about the situation going on with Sue? I said, no, what's going on with Sue? And he said, yo, she's sick in Haiti. I said, she's sick in Haiti. He was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, MANJE'L. Like, there's people saying, you know, they gonna send something after her. They gonna eat her alive. They gonna kill her. I said, what? I said, nah, there's no way this shit got this bad. but apparently it did. Literally all of these people banded together. From the kinfolk to the church folk to the people that was just mad as fuck, they banded together to send something after Sue for taking their money. Now, another layer I didn't add about this is the people that were part of this Sue, like a lot of them actually did have more money than others. Like a lot of them were a little bit, I don't want to say they were affluent, but like they were making more money than the average person. Okay, so like the Ricardos and stuff, they just came to America at this time. Like they were fresh off the boat. They were giving their hard-earned money to her. And I believe for him, he was giving like 400 to 500 at the time. Like, and that was the lower scale. The people that had more and were making more were giving more to her. So you can imagine, okay? Everybody banded together, allegedly, to send a spell after Sue. Now, I personally don't think everybody was a part of this. According to a lot of the grown moon and a lot of the people, they were like, oh, nah, they all banded together to send something after her. I don't believe so because Ricardo claims he wasn't part of it. But at the same time, Ricardo has a large track record for lying and manipulating and bamboozling. So are we going to really believe Ricardo? Back on in. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys believe Ricardo was part of it? Because I personally don't know anything about Ricardo throwing spells or being part of malevolent magic. However, I would not be surprised, right? So from what I understand, okay, because I asked a grown one for the tea when all this was happening, he basically said they went to an Ogon in Haiti, okay, that is where she is from. Let's just say the lady's from Leogan. That's just, I don't know, that's the first place that popped in my head. I hope she's not really from Leogan. Hold up. They contacted a specific mumbo from Leogan, and they basically worked with that mumbo to get their money back. Okay, if you know what I mean. Now, the only reason I kind of know about this part is not only because I asked for the tea, but I also, like I said, I used to talk to some of her daughters and stuff like that way back. So I would check in periodically like, hey, how's everything? How's your mom? How's your dad? You know, all this types of stuff. And, you know, they would be like, oh, it's not looking good. She's sick. Like they would give me updates and the updates were sounding real unnatural, like sick, no causes, all types of tests ran, vomiting blood, all types of, you know, the regular spew of when somebody sends something after you. And I'm just like, this is kind of fucked up. I'm like, damn, y'all couldn't just wait for her to come back. Like, I'm like, y'all could have waited for, like, come on now. Like, it's only been 2, borderline 3 months. Like, maybe, you know, she would have come back after the 3 months. But see, apparently she didn't. 4 months hit, 5 months hit, 6 months hit, and she never came back. She was in Haiti. And the thing is, at the time, I didn't really understand the severity of this shit. I really didn't. But child, what I'm telling you, Sue was living large on these people's money in Haiti. Large. Lili Batikai. Okay? She had a whole big ass, like, mansion style house built in Haiti. She's driving 3 different cars in Haiti. Okay? I'm talking about BMW. I'm talking about she had a brand new Toyota. I'm talking like and I forgot what the 3rd car was, but she had 3 cars. I'm seeing all this shit on the internet, okay? People are showing me videos that they got on their phone from WhatsApp. People are showing me different pictures and stuff that they received. I have no idea, but at the same time, that's a lot of people to fuck over. People are going to get the information that they want. And some of the people that you fucked over are your family, are your friends. They know where you're from. They know where you're going to go if you go to Haiti. So I don't know why she did some dumb shit like that. I think she felt like her church friends and her family and all these people would protect her and try to like good word in for her or something, but child, that shit did not go the way she planned. Like people were out here basically clocking her tea. Okay, the people in Haiti basically caught wind that people in the US was looking for her because she stole niggas' money. Okay, and they went and they was snitching back to the people in the US. Now, the thing is, from what I understand, while she was in Haiti, she wasn't even like really giving money to the people. Like her friends and her family in Haiti, which this is a big thing. This is another reason I don't want to say I don't care to visit, but it's like, when you go to Haiti, you have to literally set money aside to give away. That's literally how it is. Like you cannot just leave them empty-handed. It's a thing that Haitians been doing forever. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I kind of understand it because realistically, especially if you're going to go to Haiti and stay in people's house, like the least you can do is pay them or do their laundry or clean it, whatever. And a lot of times, you know, we from America, we going over there, we staying rent free, they cooking for us, they do it, whatever. So I get it. I completely understand it. So I guarantee you gotta go over there with at least a stack. Okay, especially if you have a big family, at least a stack. 500 minimum if you really broke like that to give away. She wasn't giving shit. Okay, she was there for 3 months. The whole time, y'all batikai though. I think it took about 2 to 3 months to like you know, get the house together or whatever. I don't think they built it from scratch. I believe they built like they bought property and then like renovated it, something like that, made it bigger. I don't remember what the details were. Her family over there were getting upset because she wasn't doing anything for them. She didn't give them anything. She didn't give them money. She was eating up their food. They was basically helping her find builders and all that. So they weren't happy. They was more than happy to clock in the tea and basically take pictures of all her progress. Okay, take pictures of the cars, the clothes, the house, and all the while, right? Like I'm just sitting here looking at this after the fact, mind you, like after I found out about this, like after everything that I'm about to tell you guys in the rest of this video, okay? I was just so in shock when I saw that shit because I'm like, oh, like she was really out here. Like I didn't really think it was that deep, but apparently it was really that deep. Like she basically took these people's money, was not answering anyone's messages or calls, and basically kind of tried to disappear low key. So they went to that mumbo. The mumbo did something, from what I understand, okay? They sent, I don't think it was a zombie. I don't think they sent the zombie after her. I feel like my mom told me they sent a baka or something. Whatever it was, that lady got violently ill. Okay, like when I'm telling you violently ill, like literally from living her best life to wheelchair, bad. Like it was so bad. Like it was, I've never, I don't know. I've witnessed a lot of people get sick, but that one was really, really bad. And she got so sick to the point where it forced her to come back to the United States to get care. So she did not pass away, because in Haiti, they didn't know what the fuck. They didn't know what they was dealing with. Like a majority, even the doctors in there was like, yeah, I don't know. This don't look medical. Even the like, you know, it's crazy when a doctor is saying this don't look medical. Okay. So she ended up having to come back to the States, and child, shit went downhill from there. People were attacking her. You had people that kept coming to her house basically saying like, give me my money, this, that, and the third. You had people basically blowing up her phone, all types of shit. She had to change her number. If I'm not mistaken, they ended up moving. They ended up moving to like south of the state. Yeah, South Jersey or something like that. It was this entire thing. It was this huge debacle because she literally took these people's money, right? And I can't even blame them for being upset. Long story short, okay, she did remain sick until she eventually did pass away. She suffered a lot. Like she was really, really sick for a long time. And I feel bad for her kids. And that's why I be telling y'all, don't be getting involved in shit, especially if you have kids. And if you are going to get involved in shit and you have kids, at least let them know what's going on so they can protect themselves. And they can mentally prepare for what is to come because of your nonsense. She ended up passing away like maybe 3 years later, because I feel like she passed away when I was like living in one of the, let me see, I was in Harrison, I believe. Yeah, so maybe before I moved to South Jersey, I believe she passed away. So she sat there suffering for a good amount of time before she actually passed away. And again, the doctors never really were able to say what was wrong with her. I think eventually they started just talking out of their ass and giving random diagnoses. None of the medication was working. So she really suffered. Whatever they sent after her, they made sure she suffered. Of course, nobody got their money back. Don't even ask. Nobody got their money back. Everybody lost their money. And a lot of people were very, very hurt by this. And yeah, yo MANJE'L. That's not funny. That's the best way to explain that. Yo MANJE'L. Be very, very careful who you give your money to. Be careful who you trust in any community. And most importantly, if you're going to do a SAUL or a suzu, make sure that you can track that person at any given time, because people really just be doing anything. And I personally feel like she is fucked up for that. I don't want to say she deserved to die and suffer the way she did. I think that's a little extra, but at the same time, that's a lot of fucking money to take from people every month. It's not like niggas just lost 500, just lost 800. They were putting $500 to $800 every fucking month to this lady and didn't see a dime of it. I will say, I remember at one point in time, they tried to hunt down the person that was supposed to get the next hand, and even they didn't get their next hand. So I believe the last hand that was given out was like maybe like, I don't remember. It was like probably right before she went to Haiti. So it was like everybody kind of just lost in this situation. So I can't really blame them. I really can't. But it's like, damn, we go through a lot just for some money that we can't fucking go like to heaven or hell with. Like, I ever sat there and think about that? Like, yes, money's important, and it's important for comfort specifically, but it's like, we don't take that with us when we die. Like, how much money we have, how rich we are, what our status is, doesn't necessarily matter when we pass away. So it's just like, damn, we be doing all this. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know down below if this is something you would do. Do you guys agree with what they did? Because personally, I've never seen Haitians come together so goddamn fast. They love coming together for money. They ain't gonna come together for nothing else. But that's another story for another time. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. Let me know if you are part of a soul, and if someone was to steal your money from a soul, if you would go to these links to retrieve your money, even though they didn't retrieve their money. Part of me believes that some way, somehow, they might have gotten something, but not their money, if that makes sense. So with that being said, make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye!